People ask why I'm so passionate about Honda. It all started 30 years ago when my mom trusted this exact 1987 Honda Accord to safely transport our family. Trust takes many years to earn, and through Bianchi Honda, I'm sharing my passion for Hondas with our community.
Bianchi Honda, trusted from the very beginning.
And still on the road today.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Sports Blitz underway. Time now for the Brad Rzyczycki Show. He is the head coach of the Gannon Golden Knights. Coach, how was practice? How are you?
Good. You know, we actually had a really good week of practice this week, and today's was probably the best one we've had all week. So, yeah, that stuff's going really well. We learned some valuable lessons last week, so the kids really have bounced back pretty good.
Sometimes you hear from different coaches, and if their team warms up well, practices well, their last opportunity before a game, that means they won't play well, or vice versa. Are there any trends like that you notice?
If you can figure that stuff out, Alex, let me know, because we've had times where we've practiced terrible and went out and played best games of our life, and vice versa. So, pregame warm up, we obviously want to practice well, be assignment strong, and those type of things. But I don't know that you can put anything into it, to be honest with you. But it's better to practice well during the course of the week. And last week was a really good reflection of how you practice, how you play. And we had those mistakes last week in practice, and I think our kids, learned a valuable lesson. You don't like to learn it during the course of a game, but I think they all saw that you got to go out and get it done during the course of the week, because that's basically your preparation for a 3-hour game.
Shippensburg, Gannon, 41-33 on Saturday. First of all, you'll be done with these crossover games after this weekend. Does that matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, they're all important. Obviously, when we get to the PSAC West after this game, it's it's up the ante a little bit. But all these games are important. We want to win all of them. These are two really good teams that we're playing early on. The crossovers between Ship and Bloom, we don't ever get a break, because the West we know is a bear in itself. But yeah, we got to get through these, and Bloomsburg's a really good football team, so we're going to have our hands full on Saturday.
Tell me more about Shippensburg. It was a tough one, especially late there in the fourth quarter. You roared back with 20 points to come up short. A tough one, but the score 41-33, you put some points up.
Yeah, we had a great punt block, by James Sims during the course of the game that kind of changed the momentum in the second half, because we just were stalling ourselves out. We did a lot of things on Saturday to beat ourselves. I don't know that, Shippensburg's a really disciplined team. They didn't turn the ball over at all during the course of the game. And we did a lot of things in every position on the field to beat ourselves. But, that all goes back to me. I'm the guy running the ship right now. So as many mistakes that we didn't make versus Southern Connecticut, I think we came back and made a ton of them, self-inflicting mistakes against Shippensburg, and it cost us. And that goes back to me. I got to coach these kids better. I got to get them right in the coaching staff, and we got to get back with them and just teach them, we can't do things to beat ourselves in the course of the game. So we had a good week of practice. We focused on a lot of our own stuff instead of, we worked schematically on Bloomsburg, but there were some things that we needed to fix that just are things of basically beating ourselves during the course of the week. So there was a lot to learn from that game. We did fight back from a pretty significant deficit. We had the ball down there a couple times in the fourth quarter to potentially tie the game, to set it in overtime. Things didn't work out our way from that standpoint, but we learned some valuable lessons, and we got back, and where I'm proud of these guys is we bounced back and practiced really well this week.
Were you surprised with how much they ran the ball? Just looking at their stat sheet from the week before, was expecting more in the passing game. They attempted 31, but they rushed the ball 49 times.
Yeah, they had their pace. Their quarterback had a day. I mean, their kid was throwing peas all over the place, deep balls. He was throwing back shoulder balls. He really opened it up. And when you do that and you start dedicating more people to the pass game part of it, you're a little susceptible to the numbers in the box, and they were able to get some yards here and there. But we did a pretty good job, I thought, stopping the run for the most part. They dedicated themselves because they had to turn the clock, too. When they got a 3-score lead, they went out there and ran the football. And I don't know if that's what they want to do if it's a close game at that point in time. So the statistics, they may reflect that a little bit. But, we weren't surprised. I think the game dictated how much they ran the ball.
I don't really want to ask you this, but tell me about the turnovers.
Yeah, it's, we had another exchange issue. That's a big deal, a drop punt where we really stuck ourselves in a bad situation defensively because they got the ball, back inside of our 2-yard line one time, and then we did throw an interception for a touchdown too. So you can't do those type of things. We talk about taking care of the football, but those things are going to happen during the course of a game too. So defensively, honestly, Alex, we got to go out and create some turnovers also. We can't just sit there and say, hey, we can't turn it over. We still have got to play aggressive offensively and do things we do, but our defense needs to go out and create some turnovers also.
That defense, the linebackers we talked about from week 1, they were flying around again, making tackles. I thought the front 7, especially in the game I saw week 1, was very solid. But who are the leaders on that team? Because you had some guys transfer in, and I don't know about their leadership qualities, but as the year goes on, maybe guys will begin to look up to the guys that have been there in D1, or is it the returners?
No, it's normally the returners on this football team. Max Onier does a great job with our guys over there, and Jeremy Page does. Martell Davis has been around. He's a very likable kid. I mean, there's plenty of kids that can right the ship over there that are actually helping out with some of the new kids that are on the field for us that aren't completely used to our scheme yet. But they've done a really good job of taking some leadership roles over on that side of it. And it does show during the course of the year, who's willing to step up. Offensively, we've got our guys too. I mean, Charlie Long, Matt Hackathorn's always done a great job with our guys. He's an extremely likable guy. But we have plenty of them. I mean, there's 13 guys in our Knights court right now that do a good job, and they were really good this week for the most part of gathering our guys together and getting them going in the right direction.
I have a feeling Mark Jones is pretty good.
Yeah.
Just a feeling. And now he's one of the leaders in the conference. So, I mean, it's good to have that in your back pocket that your running game, you expect it to work.
Yeah, we obviously want to be able to run the football, but not only Mark Jones. I'd say Young's got to get his touches too on the football because he's vastly different from a style standpoint than what Marcus is. Marcus, his size, can still run away, but IY just brings a whole different dimension from lateral movement and those type of things. He's a good complement, but we've got to get into our run game, which means we have to get a lead to be able to do those type of things. So our offensive line is starting to gel. There was 1 or 2 new faces up there, and those guys are doing a really good job with it. So, yeah, we're just handing it to those guys, and if we can churn out 6 and 7 yards, we're going to do pretty good because that's what we're based off of.
We're talking week 3 coming up on Saturday. Are you one to simplify the playbook early on? Is there parts of this offense you haven't gotten into yet? You don't have to answer that.
No, you always have to find out what people like, what they like to do and what we're good at. Our playbook has its plays, and we insert all of them in the first 5 days of camp, and then we dummy it down from there depending on what our skill is on offense and what our offensive line, if we're big and we can move people. We're going to run a little bit more inside zone. If we can throw it and wing it everywhere, we may put the ball in the air to set up the run from that standpoint. But we're working from week to week of who we're playing, too, schematically. We're going to see another 4-man front this week. We've done a good job with handling 3 techniques and 4 eyes because we didn't normally handle those guys really well because we never saw them until our game because we're a 3-3 stack. But now our defense kind of plays the 3 technique, and those guys have done a really good job with it. So it's kind of dictated about who we're playing and who we're putting on the field.
Is there a different style that you see out of the East? Because Bloomsburg, Shippensburg, you might call them comparable teams. Do they bring a certain style?
I think they're all different. I mean, Bloomsburg's 2 backs, tight end, power football, and Shippensburg is 5 wide, 50 protection, spreads you out. Their back never stays, for the most part, in and protects at all. So they're different over there. I think everybody's got, their different schemes from week to week, which you face.
All right, so this will be, is this the second longest road trip you'll take this year?
Bloomsburg's actually pretty short. I mean,
4 hours?
Yeah, it's 4.5, somewhere in there, I think, to get there, which to go play a team on the East is a relatively short bus ride.
And then you get right into the thick of things with the PSAC schedule, and week 1 is at Edinburgh of your PSAC West.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You might want to ask Dan Teleski.
Slippery Rock, and then you have Hearst, and then Edinburgh. Yep. So, I mean...
Yeah, I'm working on Bloomsburg right now, so I'm not even thinking about those other ones that far down the road.
Well, then I'll just keep talking about tomorrow. This is Coach Brad Rzyczycki, head coach of the Gannon Golden Knights. They have Bloomsburg coming up on Saturday. You're headed not the whole way across the state, but that's a 2 p.m. start. Is that tough at all?
It's a weird start because you're working out your meals, and we like to get food in our kids' system 3 hours before the ball game, and we're staying an hour away still because most of us coaches and players cannot sit around a hotel for that long. It drives you crazy.
So you'll leave tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll leave tomorrow, and then we'll drive about 4 hours, and then we're staying at a hotel. And then that game day we'll leave, I think 11 o'clock to get to the field at noon and stay an hour away from Bloomsburg. Yeah, 2 o'clock is different. I think they play all their games at 2. I'm not sure why exactly they do it, but it is what it is. 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we got to line up and play.
All right. He is Brad Rzyczycki. 2 o'clock Saturday, 1:55 pregame over on Jet Radio 1400. Coach, good luck.
Thank you.